And we are live. I mean, we were already live, but I wasn't on the screen. Anyway, right now, no one is watching because I never live stream. But, you know, people will probably show up later. We'll see. Anyway, there's a lot of tier lists out there. I've never gone around to making a tier list, and I want to make a tier list. And the reason for that is because most tier lists are about your preferences. What is the best food? What is the tastiest sandwich or fast food restaurant or what have you? But rarely are these tier lists actually useful tools that you can reference later. And, you know, I think we need more of those. So I might try making a few of them. The first one, this one, is which social media platform is most likely to break your brain, or is the most effective at breaking your brain, whatever we want to call it. Most social media platforms, you might not expect to hear this, but they're not good for you to be on. But what in what way and why and how, etc. We're going to explore that. Don't mind that. So I have me a spicy little thing I threw together here. Right here, a little tier list. Well, not the tier list, but a platform for tier listing to happen. So, you know, just starting off nice and simple. I already have a... How did this get rotated? I haven't used GIMP in a long time. Do it. Ah, there we are. Okay, it's still not straight. Wait. Okay. Anyway, Facebook is probably the simplest one to rank because it's, or at least the most well-known, easy to think about. And I don't have any labels for any of these sections yet, so we're just going to do it as we go. I think Facebook should maybe be a baseline, perhaps. Not that it is like equally helpful or unhelpful, but just that it's a very average feeling. This is the average for social media, because Facebook sucks, but it's not like actively destroying the planet. I could be wrong on that. I'm open to being proven wrong. But I'll just put it at a solid, I don't know. I can't even say D tier because this isn't labeled D tier. I know I'm already floundering a little bit in terms of I want to be confident in how I label this. You know what? Let's take a step back. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We actually need labels here. We'll have our like S tier up here, which is like social media apps that are actually good, actually helpful to be on and to have, and they're good little guys, right? And how the pooper scooper? There we go. Okay, we have an S tier. No, that's not S tier. No, it is. It is. I'm just full of hooey. Anyway, Control C, Control V. And then we move that little guy down. Actually, that's not how you want to do it, because then we can't edit it later. Let's just do A. Why are you red? It's all red. Okay. Shkaboopy. We have our B tier. We have our C tier. I feel like, no, this is wrong. The colors are throwing me off here. Because I'm pretty sure yellow is usually C. Am I missing a color? I'm definitely missing color. I've got to be missing a color. But I thought that red was usually S. I'll just save the S for later. We'll find that out. As we go. And orange is usually... Okay, I'm looking up a tier list. I can't handle this. Tier list. What's going on here? No, okay. I'm just going crazy. We're fine. Let's put those all back. Okay. Anyway. D tier is down there. Shkaboopy. We have an E tier. R. E tier. And finally, we have F. I'm tempted to put Facebook in F because I hate it. But there are worse social media apps than Facebook out there. I guarantee. Who is messaging me right now? Who's doing it? Who's ruining my life? I know I'm being a incredibly great streamer at the moment. Oh, okay. Anyway. So, Facebook. Where do we put Facebook? I feel like at this point, Facebook is full of a much older crowd than we're used to seeing. And it's kind of just an echo chamber for them to just kind of keep saying what they usually say to themselves, share, memes about things they already believe, and to make someone continue believing what they already believe, while bad, is not like the worst thing you can do, right? Oh, hey, Craig Colai is here. Well, he was here. He's not here anymore. But Facebook, you can only do so much damage by making someone continue to believe what they already believe, right? And I mean, it's not a great app, but it's not the worst app. So maybe I'll just put that at a little C, right? It could be worse. It used to be worse. It used to be much worse. So, we'll just put it there. So after Facebook, what do we want to do? We have YouTube. It's huge. Hold up. Nope, don't want to rotate you. Stay where you are. Okay. Meow. I'm not putting in C tier, I just want for reference. Okay. YouTube, I feel like, okay, so I watched a study one time, and it rated social media apps based on the mental effect it had on users, which sounds similar to what I'm kind of ranking right now. But the difference here is YouTube, well, most of them were relatively similar, but also that was a different year. So now me doing this again has relevance. Anyway, YouTube was the only social media app on that list, on that study, that had a net positive mental health impact on its users on average. And granted, it was very small positive, but it was a positive. I feel like YouTube, if any social media app is going to have a positive rating here, it's going to be YouTube. And I did not want to combine you. Okay. And so for that reason, I'm going to put YouTube. And I mean, maybe I'm biased because I'm on YouTube right now, but I'm putting on an S tier because you can watch whole movies on YouTube. You can watch documentaries. You can watch you can watch psychologists talking about issues and get help through YouTube. You can watch basically all of TikTok is already inside YouTube as well, except it's less bad for various reasons. And I have reasons for expanding on that later. But I think YouTube, if there is any social media app that is worth keeping around, it's probably YouTube. Not to say that it's perfect. It has a lot of problems. But like as far as if Facebook is a C, then YouTube is an S tier. It is actually pumping some good into the world. I feel like I can make a good argument for that. Okay. No disagreements. I see none. I hear none. And I will ignore the view count. I hear no disagreement, therefore I must be correct. So after that, let's go to something else. Let's go to a different kind of social media app and find out where we want to rank this puppy. Let's see. The one, the only, you know it, you love it, you use it every day of your life. WhatsApp. There we go. And I feel like this hardly even counts as a social media app, right? Because it's basically just text messaging. And that's it. Except like you use it specifically to text people outside of the US because for some reason, like texting still costs money if it's international, but you can message people over internet for free, which doesn't make any sense to me. But that's a thing. And that's all it is. It's just texting, which is the least controversial thing you could possibly do on social media, right? So, I feel like it's better than Facebook because Facebook is more of a net negative overall. I still use it. A lot of people still use it because it's the only way they have to interact with like family members or like certain communities or groups, but generally speaking, it's not a great positive for a lot of other reasons. But texting, what harm does texting do? Texting is good. It's a good thing, but it's really plain. It doesn't really add a whole lot. It's just kind of there. So let's just put it at a B tier. It's like a net positive, but like only in the same way that water doesn't taste bad. It's water. It can't. It's just there, So that's where we're going to put WhatsApp. Let's see. What else do we have? There's one that I don't think about very often. Is a little app called Pinterest. Pinterest. Oh. It's way too big. Shrink you down. You don't need to be the size of an entire planet. Alrighty. Pinterest. I don't use Pinterest very often. Because it's kind of just... What the heck? It's kind of just a, I don't know, like a million pictures and links sorted by keywords. So it it's which is helpful and nice, especially for brainstorming. It's great for brainstorming. But I don't use it for a whole. Well, I don't use it in general. But a lot of people I know who do use it, they it's generally a good thing. I don't know. I don't know enough about Pinterest. I've certainly never heard about it doing any harm. It feels like it's in a similar category to WhatsApp, where like it's not doing a ton for the world either way, really. And I do know some people they very easily waste their time and lose their time on Pinterest. So while it's generally a positive, there are some negative things there. Just anything with an endlessly scrolling timeline is bound to cause a little bit of harm because that introduces very addictive tendencies into its users. So there's a lot of apps like Pinterest where it'll allow you to save things and to favorite them or like them in order to look at later. So like, you find a useful tip that you want to reference for later. But the reality is what you actually end up doing is you scroll and scroll and scroll for hours on end, like racking up hundreds of things you're saving and storing away for later, only to never look at any of those things because you forget they even exist. You have like thousands of things you save over the hours that you scroll and scroll. And so it ends up really not even being much of a positive for you because all of the positivity you could get out of it is just immediately buried by the avalanche of random tidbits that you will never actually end up using anyway. So I'm going to put it at B tier. It kind of balances itself out by being both really addictive and a little helpful, I guess, and in a handful of ways. See, there's a good number of social media apps I could go over, but I want to keep some of the bigger ones for later. I want to explore some of the lesser thought of ones. Ooh, there's one that I know so much about. I am so qualified to talk about this. You don't even know. There it is. LinkedIn. You guys still use LinkedIn? I check my LinkedIn every day. Figure out what my old coworker had for breakfast this morning. Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I cannot remember the last time I used LinkedIn. Like years ago, probably. It feels like it's Facebook, but for work, and except no one really uses it. And that's not even true because I see whenever I go on there, people are still using it. I have notifications, I have requests, but I'm like, why though? What is the point in this? What is the goal of LinkedIn? Because it's not entertainment, I don't think. It's networking supposedly, but like I don't need to network with like I used to work at a theater, like a movie theater, and as like an usher, right? Nothing special. And my coworkers are on LinkedIn, my old coworkers, and they're adding me on LinkedIn. And I'm just thinking to myself, in what world will networking with the people who helped me clean popcorn in a movie theater help me to advance my career in an office? It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like LinkedIn, I mean, you can job search on LinkedIn, but the whole job search like world is kind of screwed up right now where you have to apply to like 100 different jobs to even get a good chance at getting a job. So is it really helping us there? I don't know. Maybe it's even streamlining the problem, just like allowing us to have more applications to more places that will then ignore us because there's so many applications coming in. I don't know. I feel like networking might be better if it was done in person. If it was like actual networking. But I also don't use LinkedIn, so what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Um, as a whole, I just kind of don't get LinkedIn. It feels like a thing that was made for a different species than me. Um, so I'm going to put it in C. Not because it's doing a lot of harm, but I mean, it's like Facebook. So functionally, it has the capacity to do as much harm as Facebook does, right? But I mean, I guess in some ways, I feel like it's maybe perpetuating a few things that don't make sense for our society or for jobs or for. I don't get LinkedIn, and I don't like it. It's in the C tier. That's all the justification I'm using. We're moving on. Does Skype still exist? Why does Skype still exist? Do you guys know a single person who uses Skype still? It's on like every computer on the planet. But I don't know anyone who uses it. Oh. Skype. Alright. Well, I have a lot of mixed feelings about Skype. Because you see, Skype was like it was the precursor to Zoom and to like Discord. It was a fun little app back when it was a thing that people actually used. No one uses it now. And I don't know why. Well, Microsoft is still installing it on every computer on the planet because, they want people to use it, and that's the only way they'll get people to use it is by installing it on every computer on the planet. So at this point, it almost feels like bloatware. Like it's probably not even worse than Discord or Zoom. It probably has all the same features. It's just no one uses it. So I do know that it causes an error in computers. Like there's a thing where computers that used to have Skype installed would have like 100% disk usage when nothing is running, and a lot of times removing Skype or removing some permissions from Skype would fix the issue. So I have beef with Skype over that. I don't think Skype will break your brain quite like a lot of social media apps will, but it will cause you frustration, and it is useless. So I'm putting it in D tier. It upsets me. Skype can go in the garbage. Anyway, what's next on our list? Speaking of Skype. We have Discord. Discord. If you've ever used Slack is literally just the business ripoff of Discord. Like, everything is the same. If you have ever used Zoom is just the super bare bones version of Discord. If you've ever used Skype is the old version of Discord. Discord is just the way to talk to people in community, verbally or video, that isn't in person, like, or over the phone, or like I guess people still, what do they call it, FaceTime? I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android, so I don't FaceTime. But if you video call people, you use Discord. That's generally the thing you do. And it's very useful for that. It's useful for a lot of things, honestly. If you use it right, Discord is like the best. If you use it wrong, however, Discord is the worst. So what do I mean? Using it well, right? I use Discord as a way to connect with old friends. I have like a group of friends who all know each other in real life. We have one big Discord, and that's just our group chat. We all talk through Discord. I also use Discord to talk to some friends in an entirely different state that I used to live in. They have another group chat, and I talk with all of them there. I also have one that I use just for like certain game communities. Like if we want to talk about a game or get a group together to play a game, there you go. There's a spot for that. The other thing about Discord that's interesting that no one does, except for like my roommate, and he got me to start doing it, is Discord is a place where you can like add a whole bunch of different chat channels or what have you, and name them different things. And you can make as many like of these little communities as you want and invite as many people as you want. Or you can invite no one and only make a bunch of chat channels for you to use to put whatever information you want into them. You can basically use it as a personal digital notebook, which is kind of genius because like OneNote, it limits you based on your OneDrive space. You have a limited amount of space in OneDrive. In Google Docs or whatever, Google Notes, Sticky Notes, you also have a limit on your Google account. I have like 15 gigs, I think, and I'm getting close to it. But Discord is just a free app for whoever to use in whatever way they want. Like they have a paid version for you to be able to like use special emotes and stuff like that, which is very fun. But it's a free thing. You can just put whatever you want, as much information as you want into those channels, and it's just like an infinite free personal notebook that also easily crosses between computer and the phone. And so it's also how I primarily transfer files from one to the other. Like there's a lot of ways to do that, but like I can just copy paste and there we go. It's great. However, Discord can be a cesspool of garbage. And the reason for that, there's a lot of reasons for that. But it's like I said, a place with a lot of communities. And some communities just in and of themselves are toxic cesspools. There are places that just purely spend their time sharing illicit content or being really bigoted or prejudiced and just sharing like Facebook. One of their biggest issues is that it is an echo chamber driven by the algorithm. Discord, however, users actively create their own echo chambers where they invite other people of the same opinions and can ban people of differing opinions. Everyone is the king of their own castle, their own channel in Discord, and they can do with it whatever they want. They can ban whoever they want, they can make whatever rules they want, and so it has great potential to be awful. There's a lot of personal, like whenever there's drama with people on the internet, Discord often gets involved because people will either get in private discussions that get really unhinged, and they can happen on Discord. People will leak personal information through Discord. People will have these volatile interactions where they're getting bullied or harassed, and it happens through Discord. And, that's just kind of in the nature of how Discord works. It's a very whatever you make it is what it is. And so it's like the opposite of WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very bare bones and it can't do very much. And for that reason, it kind of just is there. Discord is very open. You can do almost just free range. Anything can happen on Discord, which can make it great or it can make it horrible. And so, where do we put Discord? The question is, how much can it break your brain? And the answer is very much. But there are also communities for mental wellness that and resources to help build yourself up. And so it can literally do the opposite as well. I'm going to put it in B tier because much like WhatsApp and Pinterest, it can kind of balance itself out. But honestly, I'm more leaning towards A tier because if you are a little bit wise, it's not a problem at all. In fact, I'm putting in an A tier. I'm committing to that because it can be far more helpful for a user who uses just a little bit of common sense, a little bit of wisdom when they peruse it, and then it is harmful. So there you go. And on a similar note, let's look at a different app. Similarly, a little app called Reddit. Aww. Reddit. I say similar because, much like Discord, Reddit has many different communities, user-made communities, but rather than Discord, where you have it's mainly a place to talk with other people, to voice chat, and to, the interaction is the goal of Reddit or of Discord. On Reddit, the goal is content. So you have user-made communities about certain topics. You have each one is moderated by their own users who created it, and it is what you make it to be. So very similar. The only difference is instead of, focusing on the people who are there, it's anonymous for one thing. So it's very much not focused on the people who are there. And for another thing, it is just an endless scrolling feed of stuff that people post. So there is for example, a thread on art. So people are just posting art. And then you can comment on individual pieces. There's a whole thread of comments where you can discuss it. And but there's also communities about tea or about exercise or about a game or something like that. Anything you can think of, pretty much, is on Reddit, has a community, which sounds amazing, right? You can find anything you're passionate about, anything you like, and find an entire community of people dedicated to posting questions or tips or just cool videos or clips or pictures of things that happened, guides, just tons of content about that thing. But it is not all happy, happy, joy, joy, good things with Reddit. Because Reddit's anonymity, being anonymous, is probably one of its greatest strengths and weaknesses. Strengths because being anonymous means you can post without worrying about leaving a trail of people aren't going to see your name and instantly know that's this person. It's weird that he's posting that. They're not going to have opinions of you. These communities are too big for people to really be familiar with who you are individually. And technically, it's not really anonymous because you have a username and a profile where you can look at what you've done in the past. But largely, it's similar to being anonymous because you make a profile and it's not necessarily connected to anything you do in real life, unless you post specifically about things you do in real life. And it's more anonymous than other websites. But the problem with Reddit's anonymity is that more than probably any other website, it's easy to forget the people you're talking to on Reddit are people. Very easy, for whatever reason. So if someone disagrees with you, it is much easier to be very assertive on Reddit than on any other platform. You see someone on Facebook, and you're like, oh, that's Grandma Rosie, who's she's a little confused. Maybe she's not saying something that's wholly accurate, but I still love her, and I don't want to be rude or mean, so that's okay. I can like understand where she's coming from. Or you see at least a picture of someone who you don't know them, but you can see them, you can kind of imagine who they are, and you see who their friends are, and you don't want to create a stink because they're a person, and you can just see that everyone's a person, even if you really disagree with what they're saying. On Reddit, all you have is a gibberish name. On Discord, you can hear their voice, and you see them posting in this community, like a bunch. You see a profile picture, and you can kind of get an idea of their personality a little bit. Reddit, nothing. You just have a text string that says like you/user/ and then whatever. Sometimes it's literally just gibberish. There's nothing to go off of. And so people are much more hostile on Reddit. Much more hostile. Much more arrogant with their opinions. Much more eager to argue. Much more eager to assume who you are. See, it's easy to forget that you're really people, and then it's easier to just imagine that whoever you're talking to is the worst possible version of whoever they might actually be. So, like, let's say I run into someone who says that they think that sugar really isn't that bad. It's not that big of a deal. And health is already a controversial topic. Like, dieting is super controversial because the science is hard to pin down because we don't have a lot of human studies and everything. But people get really, really heated about health and diet. So if someone says, "Oh, sugar's not a big deal," someone else will inevitably respond calling them an idiot or assuming that they are just like some Cheeto like covered slob in their mother's basement. They will probably say as much and just insult them. It is a very harsh place to have discussions on. And once in a blue moon you get good talks on there. But people on Reddit are angry. They are, and I think the longer people spend on Reddit, and it is a very addictive website, the more inclined they are to become more angry. Because you get hit with anger, you get angry yourself, right? Hurt people. And what comes around goes around. And there's a lot of crap going around on Reddit. So Reddit is like Discord, but more enticing because there's more content, more easily accessible. It's more informative, but it's also more frustrating and exasperating and hurtful. And so, as much as I love Reddit, I am sorry to say it has to go down on the list. Probably all the way down to a C tier. Maybe. No, I'm putting it at C tier. Because Reddit, I spend so much more time on Reddit than Facebook. I love Reddit much more than Facebook. But I have to recognize Reddit has done more damage to my brain than Facebook has by a big margin. So, if I'm being honest, Reddit cannot go higher than a C for me. Can't put it any higher. So what else do we got? What else do we got on the list? Ooh, I got a spicy one here. Let's see. And I don't have much in terms of experience in this category, but Tinder. Tinder's a social media app, and I'll just lump every dating app together with Tinder, right? Tinder sucks. And here's why. And I watched a great video about this recently that explained a lot of the statistics and why it is so harmful for people. Because, I used to think dating apps aren't really harmful in any way. They're maybe a place where desperate people go. Maybe they're a place where lonely people go. But that's okay. If it can help them be less lonely, less desperate, all the better. We don't all have to interact with people in a very traditional manner, right? It doesn't have to be that way. But here is the problem. Um, Tinder and all dating apps, they advertise themselves as a way to streamline the process of meeting people and of figuring out who you want to marry, who you want to date, etc. And the idea is a very simple idea. You just you filter out the people who aren't going to work, right? You ask them what their religion is, what's important to them, what their interests are, and their location, and you filter out all the people who aren't going to be compatible anyway. And so in theory, that should cut out a lot of the people that you need to talk to consider, and it'll get you to find someone who you want to date faster. Really, really simple. But in practice, what we have found is that the opposite is true. Rather than spending less time thinking about who we want to date and how to find the right person, we are spending exponentially more time. Rather than spending, like, I don't know, one day every month or 2 weeks, I don't know, it varies depending on who you are, taking a risk and talking to someone about going on a date or spending time getting to know someone a little bit better, you are spending hours upon hours scrolling, reading through tons of people, swiping on them like Pokemon, and trying to find the perfect one. And it can narrow our preferences even more, because if we get fatigued by looking at so many people, we start to get desensitized to certain things, and we start looking for someone who particularly piques our interest, or we just are looking for anyone who will match with us and go out at all. And maybe that's really hard to do on a dating app because other people have become desensitized to all the little details and are having a more narrow sense of what they're looking for, and no one wants to settle because settling is bad. And it's basically gambling. You have a very, very low cost, right? A lot of times it's free, but not just financially, in terms of time and mental energy, emotional energy. The cost is like 2 seconds. You're sitting on the toilet, you can swipe a few times. It costs you nothing in terms of, your brain, your money, your energy, whatever. And it's not even a risk. The worst they can say is nothing. The worst they can say is just not match with you. And chances are you'll never see this person again, because this is like in a city of hundreds of thousands of people, probably. You'll never see anyone you're swiping left or right on unless you match and go on a date. So the risk is like nothing. And yet, the chances of being successful is also very, very low. You can go through 100 people swiping, and as a guy, you might not get a match at all. As a girl, you might get 100 matches, which is just as bad, because now you have to manually look through them all, and you're back to square one. You just have to choose one person who is interesting enough to you and who's actually going to respond and isn't like a hypocrite. And 100 different things, 100 different problems, 100 different issues, someone who's actually looking for the same sort of thing that you are looking for. And there are statistics. If you look up the Healthy Gamer YouTube channel, he's a psychologist. He talks about this at one point, why dating apps don't work. There is a lot of studies that correlate with successful relationships. It shows what correlates with successful relationships. And those things are not tested in dating apps. Like, there's one thing that he mentioned a lot that I remember is the style of attachment, I believe, is what it is. So some people what I assume this means anyway is like if you are lonely or anxious, you get more attached, or you express attachment more. Or if you are calm and at peace and feel well, then you express attachment more. Those are the sorts of things that actually indicate whether or not a relationship will be successful, or whether or not someone will actually want to be with you. Not whether you guys both have similar interests in Star Wars or something like that, which is the kind of thing that dating apps do ask you about. So the odds of success are very, very low. They always have been on dating apps. And the cost is also very, very low. But they have an endless scrolling stream of things you can just swipe through endlessly. They have like little ding, little noises that make you feel like you're getting that tactile interaction. Your brain kind of lights up with dopamine reward systems because it feels like, maybe this every notification you get, whether you have a message, or someone smiled at you or liked you or whatever, or if there's if sometimes these apps are so insidious that they will just notify you to say there are more people online now, and there's not. It's just it artificially limits sometimes the number of people you can swipe on in a day, because then it makes you want to come back the next day. And if they run out of people for you to swipe on, they'll just cycle through the old people and make it seem like there's an ever flowing, flow of new users, when there's not. You've already gone through them all and they all said no, or they all are incompatible, quote unquote, or they're all just not what you're interested in. And there's not infinite people on these apps, and it will sometimes show these notifications to just draw you back into the app. Sometimes you won't even run out of people to swipe on, and it'll still send you notifications saying there's more matches, there's more people for you to match with now, just to get you to look again, even though there's nothing new whatsoever. Sometimes they'll even send notifications just to say, hey, don't forget to pop on and look. And they have nothing to offer. They're just trying to get you to constantly be thinking about it. They're trying to activate the dopamine system in the brain, the feedback loops that they are so good at taking advantage of. So it's literally just a legal, more accessible, more addictive, I would argue, more dangerous version of gambling. And it is awful. So, for that reason, maybe once in a blue moon, you get people who actually have successful relationships through online dating. But it's rare. It is rare. And I'm just gonna say it. I hate dating apps for that reason. F tier. They suck. They are insidious. They are bad. They are all trying to feed on your neurotic tendencies. 0 out of 10. Anyway, what do we have next? Let's see. It bothers me that on these lists of like social media apps, they include Messenger. Like, that's not a different social media platform. That's just Facebook with extra steps. I mean, it's not even with extra steps. It's just Facebook. They just separated it into two different apps, so it takes up more space on your phone. So there's one more thing to grab your attention when you're scrolling through your list of apps. All right, I think it's time. I think it's time for Snapchat. Mew. Mew. It is not A tier. I just want you to know that right now. That's just shrinking it down. All right. Snapchat. What do we think about Snappity Chat? Well, Snapchat sucks. Plot twist. Okay, so here's the deal. Every now and then, I'll have a friend who I want to hear more from, see more from, and Snapchat is great for that. If I have a single friend, a girlfriend, a wife, someone, or a friend who's like experiencing something cool and wants to send me a whole bunch of pictures, it is a great way to do that. Just send me a single photo. I get a notification of that photo. I see it, and it's gone. Nothing more. And I can reply with my own photo of what I'm doing, show a picture of my office or my boogers falling out of my congested nostrils. You know, something fun like that. The problem with Snapchat. The several problems. I have many problems with Snapchat. One is that it has stories. Why is that a problem? I mean, it started off having stories, right? It was the first one to do stories. And at that time, that was fine. But now, Facebook has not only bought Snapchat, but they also just ripped off stories and plugged it into Facebook. They also ripped it off and plugged it into Instagram. So we have stories everywhere. We do not need 3 apps with stories. That is too many apps to have stories on. Just one is good. Maybe more than good. Maybe we don't need one. But regardless, stories. They're there. They're a place to just share what's happening right now. But the problem with stories is okay, so like Facebook, you have likes. Likes are one of the most basic, easy ways to make a social media app addictive. Because if you make a post and you get a like from someone, that tells your brain, hey, that is positive feedback. They like you. They like what you said. That makes you feel like you have value. It makes it feel like whatever you just said or did was good. And it tells your brain, do more of that. And it's addictive. Stories are similar, except it's not a like, it's just a view. It shows you who sees your stories. It similarly gives you positive feedback, where it's like they're curious about what you're doing or what you did, and that means that you're interesting. That means you're worth paying attention to. That means you have value. Keep doing more of that, especially if it is someone who you respect or you like or you have a crush on. You see that they have seen your story, and now you're suddenly like, ooh, I need to keep doing this. This is the only way I interact with this person is when they see my story. And the problem is, if you like something on Facebook, then that communicates a message, right? If you look at someone's story, it is reasonable to assume that it does not necessarily communicate anything, right? You just clicked on it and you saw it and you're done. You're not saying you liked it. You're not saying you disliked it. You're not saying you even care. You just clicked on it and that's it. But as someone who is on the receiving end of a view on your story, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like you have gotten their attention and they care and they're interested, they're curious. Especially when this happens a lot. Like if you post a lot of stories and you get a lot. And so it costs nothing on the viewer's part. There's no risk involved, nothing. So more people are going to be viewing your stories than will like your posts just by default. Because it's just, it costs less for them. It's less risk. And so you get more feedback from getting a view on your story than you do by like getting a like. Quantitatively, you get more. And so stories are arguably more addictive and more insidious than the actual posting on the social media app itself. So stories, while they have their place and they can be useful and they can be good, they are equally, if not more, insidious than other things on social media apps like Facebook. So we have too many stories. Stories are hard to deal with for the brain. Not good. But I have more issues with Snapchat. One is that it has these streaks where it will tell you if you have messaged someone every single day. And it'll give you like a little heart icon. Oh, they're your best friend on Snapchat because you've messaged them every day. Don't lose your streak. They will... Even sometimes it'll change based on whether or not you're their best friend. Like if they have messaged anyone else more than you, it will change. So it is crazy incentivizing you to every single day message a certain person because it is literally telling you how good of a friend you are with someone. And it's not doing that accurately, but it is literally making that claim that you have this place in someone else's life. And it's so, especially in romantic contexts, that is insidious, and it is very bad for the brain. It is not a good indicator of where you stand relationally with someone, but it will try to be that indicator anyway. It's awful. And then you have, the For You page is the worst For You page on any social media app ever. I hate Snapchat's For You page. It is poop. It is garbage. I hate it. Because, okay, so you have all your stories. They're all there. They're fine. That's okay. That's to be expected. But then it has a page full of just like random... So when you're going through the aisle in Walmart and you see all those magazines in the checkout lane, and they're all like trash about celebrities you don't know and who's pregnant and who's dating who and who has gained weight, and it's just nonsense you don't care about, that is only there to grab the attention of really bored people and hook them in with just like mind-numbing nonsense. That is Snapchat's For You page. It just has journals and magazines, but they're digital now. I don't know how that works. And they're just pumping out their own stories of just the same garbage. It is either that, news about celebrity pregnancies and breakups and crap, or it's like people, like, I won't even say influencers, because it's not influencers. It's not content creators. It's people whose 24/7 job it is to just stage these weird skits or like go around interviewing people pretending to be more provocative than they really are because they're all paid actors. It's just, it's garbage. It's like reality TV for YouTube. It's horrid. It makes me so mad. And not only that, but it's just some of the most explicit, gross stuff is thrown around there, and it's just, and you can click on any one of these, hold down the button, and you can say hide the stories from this person, this profile. You can say don't show me this, I'm not interested. You refresh the page, it will still be there immediately. You close the app and reopen it, still there. It does nothing to click, I don't want to see this, hide this. It's a dummy button. It's only there to make you think you have control, because it is just, I hate it. I want it to burn. I want to go to the CEO office of the CEO office. It's Mark Zuckerberg. He owns Snapchat too. Mark Zuckerberg is just I don't have words for how much I hate Snapchat's For You page. It makes me upset. The world would be a better place without it. For that reason, F tier. You know what? I wanna put an F tier. I feel like maybe E tier, only because when messaging someone one-on-one, it can be fine. You know, if I'm sending a meme to someone, it can be fine. But it is hard to make it not the worst thing on the planet. You have to actively work towards make F tier. I don't care. It deserves it. It deserves it. I hate it. Okay. Anyway, what else do we have? You know, we already touched on it. Let's pull up little old Instagram. Little old Instagram. Little old hashtag blessed. Our favorite, our original cancer social media platform. Right? Like, this was the first platform that people really thought was cancerous. Was harmful to the brain. It started it all. So, 2023, what is the deal with the gram? Well, for one thing, it has stories. It already is losing points for that. I'm not putting in E tier just yet. It has stories, which I've explained why I hate those and why they're problematic. It's mostly stories, honestly. But Instagram also, it started off purely being photos, sharing photos, which means that, you know, it could be a great place for photography, right? You share cool photos or things like that. But what actually ends up happening is people share personal photos. This is where selfies came from. Well, I don't know that for sure historically, but I feel like it probably is. People love taking pictures of themselves, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But it makes people, when you focus on it addictively, like Facebook is so good at making their apps addictive, you begin to think much more about your appearance and how you appear to other people. It drives insecurity. There's a direct link, a direct correlation in lots of studies that have shown this between loneliness, modern loneliness, and social media app usage like Instagram. The reason for that is because you are seeing people showing off their best life, the best highlight reels, literal highlight reels of their life. But they don't show the crappy parts. I was sick this week. I had a fever. I had nausea the next day. I didn't take selfies on Monday and Tuesday of my fever and of me looking gross and unshowered in bed. You know, and there's good reason for that. I think that makes sense not to do that. But what it means is that all you guys see is the nice parts. I don't want you to see the icky parts. And when all you see is the nice parts, we begin to develop this false impression in our brain that this is who they really are, is that all the good parts. They are living their best life because all I see is good on Instagram from them. And they're posting all the time. If they're posting all the time and all I see is good, then their life must be perfect, right? Why is my life so garbage? What's the deal with that? This is what Instagram does to people, or it has done to people. Now, this is kind of just the trend between a lot of social media apps in general, but Instagram is still kind of the place where this continues to occur because it's photos. People love to post photos of themselves with other people. They like to post pictures of their food. Look at the delicious stuff I'm eating and my highbrow taste in cuisine. And is not good. Social media or Instagram can be fine. It can be fine because if you only follow people, if you unfollow all the influencers who are posting selfies, posting their life, unfollow all of them, and you instead follow artists, people who are creating stuff. You follow people who post pictures of what they make, like oil paintings or carpentry, or YouTube skits, like funny little skits. You follow people who share helpful information, tips, or motivational pages that just share little blurbs, 3-word blurbs of, don't forget happy day when cry, good things like that. Instagram can become a pretty great place to browse. It can. You can curate it a little bit, and there you go. But if you treat it like it wants you to treat it, as a social media app where you are socializing and looking at your friends' lives and trying to connect with people, which is the way it's designed, then it is horrid. Because then that comparison starts. Then you are getting more lonely. Then you are trying to think of ways to post stories to get the attention of people you want attention from. Instagram is designed to be bad for you, but it can be better if used wisely, if used correctly. So, where do we put it? I actually feel like Instagram is better than Facebook. It's better than Reddit. If you are wise with it, it can be pretty good. Because here's the thing, even Reddit, I try to utilize a lot of wisdom, a lot of moderation, a lot of patience, and it still gets me. It still does a lot of harm to my brain. I get into arguments. I get frustrated. I see stuff I don't want to see. On Facebook, it also bothers me because I use a lot more common sense and a lot more wisdom, but it just is a slog of bad news and of people sharing things that I'm not interested in, and it's not great. Instagram, if you use wisdom, if you use good common sense, it becomes an okay app to use. I'm taking a break from Instagram right now, but it can be okay. But you know what? I take it back. C tier. Because it is still designed to break your brain, and that is what it does 99% of the time. So, I'm not going to make this list trusting people to be wise. It's a C tier. It's a problem. It is a problem. Alrighty. What we got next? What is next in the tank? What else is there? There's something called Likey. That just sounds weird. Oh, that was 2019. Huh. I'd look at WeChat, but I know literally nothing about WeChat, so I'm not doing WeChat. Alright. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. We've all been waiting for. Where is it? Oh! TikTok. The big talk. The biggest talk of the tick. Alrighty. And here's another reason why I don't want to take too much into account a user's ability to be wise with how they browse the social media app. Because TikTok is similar a little bit to Instagram in that if you curate it really well, it's not that bad. In fact, it can be hilariously entertaining. It can be a well of information, helpful information. You can use it to search instead of Google for like how-tos and like news, and it is there's like communities on TikTok for like everything as well. There's a theology corner of TikTok. There's a history corner of TikTok. There's a place on TikTok where they exclusively do like DIY projects and things like that, and show you, and you just watch like people making pottery or forging weapons, and it's like therapeutic. It's mesmerizing. The problem is TikTok. When you don't spend a lot of time curating your feed, or when you don't know what to properly curate it with, if you don't know what to get rid of, if you aren't aware of how it's affecting you, which is very easy to not notice. Like sometimes you're just watching stuff and you don't realize until later that you were really angry and you don't know why you were really angry. And you can't connect the dots, you know? And that's fair. TikTok, more than any other app, I think, when you don't take precautions you ought to, it can do so much damage. So much damage. Lots of reasons for this. One is, oh my gosh. So YouTube operates on an algorithm. And we say algorithm a lot, but all that really means is that there is an AI, a box, there's a mystery kind of set of toggles and switches and balances that all tell the whole YouTube platform, if a user watches this and watches it for this long and does this kind of interaction with the video, then we will change the kinds of videos we recommend to that user in this way. And it's just the way that the platform decides what to show you. YouTube's algorithm is fairly good, I think, at figuring out what you want to see, at what you're interested in. And it will show you that stuff. TikTok has a monstrous algorithm. So, like, you start browsing TikTok, and it doesn't have any clue what you want. And so for a few days, it is trash. It is awful. All you see is, like, what you see is what happens when TikTok is let to run wild. It is awful. You see people, oh my gosh, how do I even begin to describe if you're not familiar with it? It's hard to describe. It has done so many things to the psyche of children, because this is the primary way kids spend their time now. It is so addictive that many kids will admit they spend 4 hours a day on TikTok every single day. And that is like a huge majority of kids in like Generation Z. This is what is functionally programming their brain right now. In as much as school is, TikTok is. And TikTok is their second school. Um, humor gets weird, right? Uh, humor is a weird thing. There are some things that a lot of people just don't understand at all, and there are some things that we like to joke. Our sense of humor is a little broken sometimes. Like there's a video of a piece of bread just falling over, and something about the timing, something about the sound effect, just it makes me laugh. It makes a lot of other people laugh too. But it's just a piece of bread falling over. It's weird. It's weird that anyone finds it funny at all. But when you look at TikTok, the degree to which their sense of humor is broken is a whole different level of broken. Like I could watch a whole video, a whole TikTok video, have no idea what the punchline is, what exactly is happening, why this video is made. I have many questions, but it's not like I'm not baffled. It's not absurd. It's not absurd enough to like evoke any kind of emotion. I'm just like, okay, what was that? Like you'll have someone making a sandwich, and someone duets that video, which means they are replying to that video with their own video. The videos are side by side, and he's just pointing at the other video, or like emoting like a cartoon character, or saying something like lip syncing a movie line, completely unrelated. There's no punchline. There's no end to the video. But that's it. That's the whole video. You get videos like that, and I'm just confused. Like, what is going on here? Why is this happening? Why is this? Why did someone spend their time making this? And why are people wasting their time watching and interacting with this? Why am I watching this? And this isn't an obscure thing to experience, because you could spend all day scrolling, and like half of the videos you run into are like that. It just doesn't make sense. It's like I'm interacting with aliens, where their culture is so far off, incomprehensible to my own, that I just don't know where to begin. That is largely what TikTok has done to a lot of kids. And it's not that they're speaking their own language either. It's not that they all have a new kind of culture that I'm separate from. I know for a fact that a lot of those kids don't understand it either, nor do they understand each other. Like, it is just, they're getting some strange, absurd stuff pumped into their eyeballs, and they just accept it. And some of them try to make sense of it, because our brains like to try to find patterns, and their brains try to find patterns too. And people come to different conclusions because it doesn't make sense. There's not an answer to a lot of it. And like I have a few family members who are pretty young, and I love them to death. But sometimes when they try to be humorous, try to be funny, they appeal to that kind of humor, the kind of humor that even their own peers don't understand, and I don't understand, and I just don't know how to respond, and I assume no one else does either. And I feel like this cannot be good, because it's not that it's creating a strange sense of humor in them. It's eroding their ability to understand how to communicate. Because not only is TikTok very, very addictive, but it is also extremely, like I said earlier, with dating apps, it is very low cost. These videos are very short. If you get bored, you can just scroll next. If you even watch through the whole thing, you've only lost, at max, 3 minutes. Videos don't get longer than that. And so there's low cost, low risk. You're not losing out on anything by watching these videos, even if it is a waste of your time. So until you've spent hours on it, and you have wasted hours of your time. But that's what happens when you first open the app. You see all of that, which some people somehow get the algorithm to feed them more of that stuff. I don't have an explanation for how that happens. But the first few days, you have that stuff when you install the app because it doesn't know what you want to watch. But after you like a few things, or you can click a button that says, I'm not interested in this, I'm not interested in this user, it will very quickly, the algorithm will figure out exactly the kind of content you like. It will find out what you like faster than YouTube ever will. And it will give you so much of that stuff, the exact kind of stuff that you want, that it is one of the most addictive social media apps I have ever been on. It feels like in a blink of an eye, I will lose an hour of my time, 2 hours, 3 hours. I, at one point, felt accomplished when I only spent an hour on TikTok. It was so addictive because you would see videos of, I could spend lots of time describing the kinds of videos. It's the kind of videos you see anywhere, drone footage of cool landscapes, or someone giving cool story prompts, or someone talking about history and archaeology or theology. Anything you are interested in, it can find videos for. It is a monstrously effective algorithm. And that in itself makes TikTok a problem. I've had to completely delete it from my phone because otherwise I will spend many, many hours on TikTok. And TikTok is also a very, very good place to create content, to interact with other users, to see trends grow and pass very quickly. And it's almost innovating its own kind of format of storytelling, and it's very, very interesting a lot of the time. But it's just that it deletes monumental amounts of time. And the other thing with TikTok that is a problem is that because these videos are very, very short, it means that things work very, very differently in as far as the spread of information and how quickly interactions happen and how little time and energy and effort people put into those interactions. So one great example, there's a video I watched recently. One second, let me see if I can find it. What was it? Yeah, Drew Gooden did a video called TikTok Hates Your Relationship. And it is a great video because it perfectly illustrates how horribly toxic the TikTok community is. And it is. Because much like, as a creator, you can be seen, you can show who you are, you're seen as a person. But as a commenter, it's much like Reddit, anonymous. I mean, it's not anonymous. You can click on your profile, people can see who you are and what you post. But all you see in the comment section is a little tiny string of text and maybe a little profile picture. And so the attention span of users on TikTok is already minuscule because these videos are so short. And so people just are dedicating less than a minute of thought to any thought. And so you give them a video and they take issue with it or they disagree, they're not going to think about what they say. They're just going to respond in whatever heated, assertive manner, thoughtless manner they decide to. And they will do so on the dime. They will do so without warning, without regret. They can be as toxic as Reddit, as harsh as Reddit, for a lot of the same reasons. They don't think, they don't care. It feels anonymous. Comments do. The comment section does. It feels borderline anonymous, where you can just say whatever you want without remembering that the person you're talking to is a person, rather than just a thought that's going to be gone as soon as you scroll down, because the videos are all so short that within 3 minutes you could have scrolled through 10 videos. You can be on a whole different wavelength than you were before. And so there's no worry or concern about how you're going to feel 10 videos down the road. You know, just comment whatever the heck you want. Who cares? And so I would definitely recommend that video, Drew Gooden's TikTok Hates Your Relationship, because people will post totally innocent, even wholesome things and still get the most heinous comments ever. People joke about YouTube comments being bad. No. Compared to TikTok comments, YouTube comments are the kindest things you will ever see or hear from anyone on the planet. YouTube comments are a gift from the Lord. So, yeah, TikTok is very, very toxic in that way. But the other thing, I mentioned earlier how the short attention span, the short duration videos causes information to be spread very, very fast. And that is very, very true. I say very, very a lot in this video. And I very, very much don't care. Misinformation is huge on TikTok. Huge. Because these videos are too short to include citations. They are usually made on the phone, just recording, which means people don't bother to show visibly their sources. And what they're looking for is a like and for someone to scroll by. They are not looking for people to actually spend time and think about what was said, because most users won't. And that's not where the value lies. That's not how you get viral on TikTok. You just want to say something interesting so people scroll by and go on with their day. Which means that just misinformation is so popular on TikTok. Conspiracy theories, huge, absolutely huge on TikTok. Unregulated, basically. You see people spreading misinformation about health. There was a while where I think a recipe for ketchup, pink ketchup or something was going around that was like actually physically dangerous for people to make. Like if you followed the recipe, you would be in the hospital. There are trends that go around that are dangerous. There are vandalism, Tide Pods, that whole deal. I feel like that was a TikTok thing, maybe. Eating those. I think that was a TikTok thing. Lots of mental health, especially. It's become a huge trend to share false information about mental health on TikTok as well. And there's even a whole new phenomenon. This is fascinating, where thousands of people, of kids, will begin to develop symptoms of a disorder or a condition that they do not have, purely because they watch influencers, content creators on TikTok who have those conditions. And it's not because like exposure to these things will cause people to start having it. It's a phenomenon people don't even quite understand yet. It's like, and it's only recently, only with TikTok, that this has started happening, where people just spontaneously have begun to, for example, Tourette's. They'll begin to develop a tic, even though they don't have Tourette's. And the doctors will examine their brain, do a CT scan, find that there's nothing wrong, and they'll tell them, you don't have anything. And these people sometimes will just stop. They'll just stop having symptoms all of a sudden because they've been told there's nothing wrong with you. It's like an incredibly powerful version of the placebo effect. Like people see content creators with these conditions and they wonder, like, maybe I have something like that. And so they develop symptoms. And I'm not saying that's exactly how it works. That's just like, I don't know, a guess off the top of my head without really understanding the whole situation. But this happens with a lot of different things, and it is bizarre. Like, it's causing whole new mental health conditions by means of viral TikTok spread. It is a bizarre thing. It's like the whole world is in a new stage of life that we don't really know how to deal with right now. And that is a scary thing. And so I love what TikTok can give me, but for reasons of addiction, I can't use it. And it is so volatile, so dangerous to younger generations that I truly think the world would be better if TikTok did not exist. And even for creators, because there's like a TikTok creator fund, I believe, where if you are a part of it and you have a lot of followers, then you will start to earn money from your videos. But the problem is they don't pay content creators very much at all. You get paid astronomically more on YouTube posting your TikTok videos as shorts than you do by just staying on TikTok. So TikTok is doing bad by their creators as well. This is going to be a horrible sounding thing, but I feel like TikTok is for the younger generation what Facebook is for the older generation. It is targeting the way they think and taking advantage of them and ruining their brains for it. But almost worse in some ways. I'm going to put it at D. I feel more safe having Instagram on my phone than I do having TikTok on my phone. And I feel more safe having Reddit on than either. Because TikTok is just so much. It is dangerous for me, and I imagine for a lot of people, for those reasons. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break because I need some frickin' water. So listen to some vibes. I'll be back. We are back. So, where were we? You're right there. I'm running out of ideas for social media apps. There's more, I know, but I don't want to do like every single media app on the planet. There's too many. Oh, what else do we have? Google Plus doesn't exist anymore, so I'm not doing that. Tumblr still exists, right? Let's do a little Tumblr. Tumblr. Now I'll be real. I'll be really, really real. I don't use Tumblr a whole heck of a lot. Not a whole heck of a lot. So, I don't really know exactly how Tumblr works. I've been there a few times, but like the specifics of what makes it tick and all that jazz, I don't know. What I will tell you is it seems really bad. Because Tumblr is just kind of known. It's got a reputation for having not in terms of like how it's structured or the kind of content you'll find or anything like that, but it has a reputation for being like if you take Reddit, right, and just take the dial of politics and turn it from one end extreme to the other. This kind of how Tumblr is. And generally it seems pretty bad in terms of its mental health impact on its users. I have heard about a lot of harassment. That happens on Tumblr. Like, a lot of harassment. And just a lot of controversy. I know it can offer some good things. So I even have saved a post, a self-care master post, as it is called, where they just list a bunch of resources for taking care of yourself and mental wellness and good, jolly stuff like that. But that is not what Tumblr's known for, right? It is a place where people share a lot of art, and there's a lot of controversy over that art of all kinds. I don't know. The one study I saw that talked about the emotional mental impact that social media apps have on its users, and it compared them. The one that I said YouTube was the only net positive on that list. Tumblr was pretty low on the list. So I feel like I'm being unfair because I don't know it as well as I know, say, Reddit. But I have to kind of put it down on the same level as TikTok. I feel like it has not only the potential, but the active history of doing a lot of damage. There's a lot of good stuff too. A lot of funny memes, a lot of great stuff on there. But the fact remains, it's kind of on that level in terms of the world would probably be better without it. we can probably be fairly sure about that. And speaking of things the world would be better off without, let's say hi to our little friend, Twitter. Twitter. Here's the thing about Twitter. What am I doing? Oh. Twitter Oh, it's the problem with Twitter. The problem, the only problem. No other problems exist. No. Uh, so their character limit. It produces a similar effect to TikTok's very, very short form video content. So people on TikTok have a low attention span. They think less about how they respond, about what they post in the first place. They think less about the ramifications of their interactions, and they just keep scrolling on. Twitter is a very similar deal, where even if, like, generally speaking, people put a lot less thought into their responses, into what they post, into what they like, which all of you guys need to know on Twitter. When you like something, that is as good as sharing it, because Twitter it can and does just put on other people's timeline. Like, let's say your name is Jimmy and you liked a controversial take that someone posted. Other people who are following you will see on their timeline, Jimmy liked this, and it'll just show the thing that you liked. You basically just shared it by liking it, which is a stupid function, but it is a function nonetheless, and it is one that I feel like most people on Twitter do not seem to be aware of, because they like things that I don't think they would share. And you gotta think about this. But Twitter is it creates a lot of volatile interactions that way. In the same way, it also, very similar to TikTok, spreads misinformation very, very fast, very quickly, very virally. It's very easy to share things. It's very easy to make something blow up by commenting on it. Usually, when a post gets big, you look at its comments. It does not sort the comments by most liked. It sorts them by comments with the most replies, which is usually the most controversial comment. But it does that because it drives more interaction, more engagement, which means you spend more time on Twitter. So it purposefully shares, like, presents things to you in a way that causes more controversy. Facebook actually got in a lawsuit a few years back for admitting to this exact thing. They purposefully promoted things that made people angry, that that was bad to promote, because it made people stay on the website longer. Twitter does this exact same thing with the way they promote things. And it's an endless scrolling feed that just goes on forever and ever and ever. And misinformation, it just gets shared very, very quickly. It's very easy to see something and to see a million likes and to be like, wow, that seems legitimate. Is this actually happening? What the heck? And then you look at the comments, and it sorts them by most commented on, most replied. And so you see all the controversial comments, all the ones with discussion. You don't see the ones that are the most liked. You don't see the ones that are the most reliable. A lot of times, there was one time I was a victim of, I say this a lot on this channel, I was a victim of a misinformation campaign. Russian bots spammed Twitter en masse with a certain hashtag, which was supposed to be a search term method, like tool. You click on a hashtag and it'll show you all the things, all the posts with that hashtag. So it helps you search for things. But when I clicked on that, I only found more posts by Russian bots, and they were all pretending to be protesters in Washington, D.C., who were experiencing this crazy thing happening. And it was all a lie, as I found out much later. But I fell for it, and I was freaking out, and I didn't find out until like the next day that nothing had happened at all. And it's just it's a cooking pot for conspiracies and for craziness to get spread around very, very fast in a very volatile fashion. And that's all not even to speak of what's been happening in the last year with Elon Musk having bought it for a meme and then firing people and kind of breaking the website, and the it's a whole mess. I don't know if Twitter's even going to last too much longer. But as it is, Twitter is a problem. So where are we going to put it? Maybe I'm biased because I got tricked by a bunch of Russian bots with a misinformation campaign. But I feel like it's almost worse than, like, TikTok and Tumblr and Reddit. Genuinely. Kind of feels like it's worse. And the difference there is it's a little bit less addictive. It's easier to get off of. But it's so bad. It's so bad. And it's also the source of the term cancel culture and canceling people, because it is a place where publicly anyone can message you or post at you or reply to you. And it is the prime place where if people want to go to a person and criticize them or insult them, they can do that right there on Twitter. And so whenever someone gets canceled for something they did that was wrong or controversial or a lot of people didn't like it, tons of people, hundreds, thousands, can go to their profile and do go to their profile to spew hatred at them. And sometimes this causes positive change. Most of the time, this is more a mass, almost like, a vigilante is someone who individually goes and tries to produce justice for themselves. They try to make sure that criminals get what they deserve and that sort of thing, because they don't trust the justice system to do it themselves, right? Well, canceling people on Twitter in mass is almost like mass populations becoming a vigilante unit together in this very weird phenomenon. Less interested in rehabilitation than they are in getting a strange sort of vengeance by trying to bring down their reputation or their ability to function in society in various capacities. It's a mess. There's a great TED Talk on it. I would recommend. Just look up TED Talk Twitter. Let's see. What is it? I want to make sure I'm giving the right info. Yeah, it's a TED Talk by John Ronson called "How One Tweet Can Ruin Your Life," and it is about the volatile miscommunications and bad interactions that happen on Twitter. And it is a great video. You guys should all watch it and then cancel him. Anyway, Twitter, awful. I hate it. I'm still on it, though, because it's easier for me to avoid than other things. I just go on it like once a week or something like that. Anyway, what do we have left? What do we have left? I feel like Yahoo doesn't count. It's not a really platform. SoundCloud. Is it really social media? Do people go on there? more than just SoundCloud feels like Spotify. It's not really social. I'm not going to count it. We have Vimeo, but I don't think anyone really goes on there anymore. Vimeo's a little bit dead. That's just kind of like, it's like Dropbox. It's just a place to put things and then send links to people. You don't really browse it. Blogger, does that exist still? I thought they shut that down. I don't actually know. Maybe we've covered most of them. Surely there's more. Yammer. Yammer's like Yammer's like if you take Facebook and just give it to one company to be like, here's your private server for Facebook. You can only interact with other people in the company on this. Like, I feel like it doesn't really work as a comparison, because at that point, it's not really social media. It's just you're talking to your coworkers. It's like a faster way of sending an email, but more casual. It's like on a different level. Gaia Online. I thought that was a video game. I don't know anything about Gaia. Twitter, Tumblr, Photobucket. That's not social media. That's like a stock footage website. Maybe we covered most of them. Maybe we covered most of them. Oh, there's one more. I am an idiot. I'm an idiot. Twitch. Twitch, Twitch, Twitch. There it is. How do we feel about Twitch? Well, I don't go on Twitch a whole lot either, if I'll be real. But I've been there more than, like, Tumblr. And there's a lot of good content that comes from Twitch. A lot of good content. I think the biggest considerations with Twitch is, as a creator, there's a lot to be said for whether it's good or bad. As a viewer, generally, there's a few things that are problematic. Like, Twitch is much more than YouTube a place to get to know a creator. YouTube, you can have a lot of people who just make content for the sake of the information they're sharing, and they're just the mouthpiece. Whereas Twitch, it's all about the person, right? So, and that can be fine, but it also becomes a breeding ground for parasocial relationships, where viewers will feel like they know someone. They know the creator. They feel like this is someone they are developing a relationship with. They feel as though they're in a close. So this is why when drama happens, people often will say they feel betrayed, or they deserve answers, or they can't believe this is happening, or they react so intensely because they personally feel offended by a stranger they watch on the internet, because they have developed an unhealthy parasocial relationship. That is why. And this happens all the time. It used to happen a certain amount, and now it's happening more. And it's, I think, because of Twitch. Um, it's like people just spend tons of time developing parasocial relationships. Lonely people, especially, rather than going out and being with other people, they just turn on a stream where a dude is hanging out, talking, saying what he thinks, talking to chat, so they can see chat and they can respond to it, and they feel like they're developing a real relationship. When in reality, the streamer rarely even knows 90% of the people who he's talking with. Um, Over the chat, he just sees words streaming up rapidly on the screen and he responds to them. And that is it can be a problem. It can be a big problem, especially when controversy happens. If there's no controversy, well, it generally doesn't appear to be an issue, but there are still parasocial relationships being developed. Um, and how do we avoid that? I don't really know. Other than just constantly reminding people that, hey, you don't really know me. This is a content creation thing. You don't, like I said, I got sick on Monday and I had a fever. I'm showing you a highlight reel. You don't get to see me when I'm gross and don't want to talk to anybody. And so that is a problem. And I mean, there's a few other problems, but they're more nuanced, a little more controversial, and a little more controversial in terms of even talking about the fact that they are problems. And so I'm going to stay away from those. But generally, I'd say it's worse than YouTube, better than most. Maybe, I'll put it B tier. Because here's the thing. The other thing is that Twitch largely does not produce a positive. It is purely, almost unanimously, it is entertainment for entertainment's sake. It burns time away and just gives people a thing to do when they want to be amused. And so YouTube you can learn a lot from. And technically you can learn a lot from Twitch as well. But that's not the vast majority of YouTube. Like there's some people who will give basically lectures on Twitch and tell you all about stuff. Or people who do news. But the vast majority of Twitch is not that. It's just people playing games or hanging out or exercising or vlogging or what have you. And it's not really great for anyone. Not bad, but it's not helpful, if you know what I mean. It doesn't create a net positive. So I'm putting it below Discord for that, because Discord can and does make a net positive if you use it wisely. And am I missing any others? I don't even know. I think that might be just about every social media app that matters right now. Am I missing any? I think I got almost all of them. All right, you know what? I'm going to call it good. This is our list. This is our beautiful list, our final tier list of apps ranked based on how badly they will break your brain the more you use them. And not that I did not, not this way, that way. It's that way, this way. So, S is good. S is a good thing. You want S apps. These will break your brain more. Right? Okay. So, YouTube good. Discord good. Twitch in moderation. These are barely social media apps, but, they're fine. The sea level and below, that is where you start to be like, I can avoid these and my life will be better. My life will directly improve if I stop using these. But if you C tier at the same time, you can still get good stuff out of it, right? D tier, like these are things you should actively probably take out of your life, but at D tier, you can still get good things out of them. You can get a lot of good out of them, but you have to be a lot more careful because they will take away from you as well. E tier is almost entirely bad, almost entirely, and F is just burn it with fire. Trash, garbage, be rid of it. And that is our tier list, final and complete. Let me know if you have any thoughts about that. If you disagree with any of these, I want to know why, so I can tell you you're wrong. I'm kidding. I will not. Unless you are. I might. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want to start making more tier lists because it's fun. Maybe I won't be so long-winded about it next time. But thank you for watching, and I will see you never, because I am the YouTube creator. I don't see you. You see me. This is a parasocial relationship. No, it's not. But you'll see me at some point, maybe. Unless you never see me again. If you never watch another one of my videos. In which case, good riddance! I don't want you here. That's a lie. I do. Okay. I'm leaving.